Right, ready?
Yeah, good.
Cool, excellent. Hello. Hi there. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome back to Dubious Engineering. And today we have Ravi with us.
Yes.
Good to see you, mate.
Yeah, it's been nice coming over. I went to see Southwest Amiga Group.
Yes, indeed.
Which was quite close to here, actually.
Yeah,
A place
yeah.
called Chipping Sodbury, which sounds completely made up.
Or sodding chipbury, as we like to call it. Yeah, so we went over to the swag group and we saw loads and loads of really cool retro Amigas and equipment out there. C64
Mario.
Mario,
They had
yeah.
Steve Jones's new cases as well.
Yeah.
But it's been a good opportunity for us to continue work on the fun laptop project.
Indeed. So I'll put a little bit of footage in just a few seconds, but if you remember, if you look back at previous videos, Ravi and I started work on a retro Amiga laptop project. So here it is on the desk in front of us. We've got power packs in there now. Unfortunately, our 5-volt side isn't working as well as it should do. It looks like this little buck converter is restricted to about sort of 2 amps, and the A300 board that we've got here,
Yeah, with A600,
which is actually an A600 PCB. So this guy actually needs about sort of 3 or 4 amps in the 5-volt side of things. So things aren't firing up at the moment. So we've ordered a new buck converter and we'll get that fitted in the not too distant. But you know, we've made our own little plug for this, which is really quite cool. Because these plugs are really hard to get hold of,
and the monitors.
The monitor is
firing up, which
wicked.
Is
yeah,
really
we've tested that with my old Acorn Electron,
Yeah.
and to see that boot up on such a lovely clear screen was really quite cool. So
and this one doesn't require a switch to be pressed underneath, so it just boots up straight away, which is awesome. As soon as it's got power,
as soon as you hit that missile switch, everything just lights up, doesn't it? So, so very soon we hope that we're going to have an Amiga system running, and you've created all the software and everything on the hard drive.
Yeah,
there,
I've done
drive.
a hard drive image of a Better Workbench, which is a kind of smaller impact version, and then I've got some of the original games. But at the moment, I'd say the presentation of this is all about hardware, because at the moment it looks like a bomb.
It does, yeah, it does. It does look a little bit dodgy, doesn't it? Imagine walking through the airport with this, like a missile switch on the side of it and a whole load of tubes in there.
But eventually we're going to minimise it. I was possibly thinking of making a case out of Lego or something.
Wow.
Or just making crazy fun, but it's all proof of concept at the moment, isn't it?
Excellent stuff. Now, you DJ reasonably regularly, normally on a Saturday evenings, don't you?
Yeah, so I DJ using Amigas for my channel, Retro Ravi. Also check out 8bitmix.com, where you can download the DJs and listen to them. And Howard's a great fan. He's always texting me.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
as soon as I hear him on, I crack a beer and enjoy a good bit of old, whatever it is, whatever genre you've decided to mix together in mod files with 2 Amigas.
Webcam blew up the other day. Thank you, Logitech. So I'm now put an effort in to get 4K streaming stuff. So I'm going to be set for the future. So for the next 4 or 5 years, it should be good. So put a bit of an investment into that, I'll be back streaming in higher quality soon.
Excellent. And then on top of that, another show that I think that you guys really might appreciate. As you know, I do a lot of travelling, and when you're sitting on a flight, sometimes it's sort of difficult to maybe watch a movie on an iPad or whatever. So it's nice just to have a pair of headphones on. And something that Ravi's involved in, co-presenter on, is the TheRetroHour UK podcast.
Yeah.
So sitting down and listening to a podcast is lovely, and there's been a plethora of really, really cool interviews. You have a format where you have a talk about the sort of the news, and then for about half an hour, and then you have half an hour or so interview with various different people. You've had there's all sorts of people on there, games creators, CEOs of big retro companies. Retro Man Cave, Neil has been on there.
Yeah, one of our most popular episodes.
Very recently, it was Metal Jesus has been on there as well.
Some amazing people, Nolan Bushnell, the founder of Atari, and we've kind of been doing this for 4 years, every single week. So that means contacting a guest researching, writing questions, and it's absolutely tiring, guys.
I can imagine it's really hard work, yeah.
So after episode 200, we're going to change the format a little bit. So I'm going to come on and still doing interviews once a month, but we're going to have more of a roundtable show that talks about kind of retro gaming news and stuff, and Dan and Joe are going to host that one as well. So we'll still have the traditional retro hour once a month as well, with a banging interview, but hopefully it'll mean I can get a higher quality of guest.
Yes.
Because I've got more time to focus on it.
Yes, exactly, and do all the preparation work, yeah.
Yeah, and as that's going on, I'm launching another podcast in America at the moment.
Okay.
With my business partner, Adam Spring.
Okay.
And he's insane. He talks to all the people from, like, Pixar.
Okay.
And,
That's pretty big names.
all the big names. Yeah. And this one's kind of... It's a monthly podcast, so it's not going to be weekly, but this is going to be about kind of future technology, geosystems, laser scanning.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah, that's the sort of
CGI.
Yeah, that's the kind of kit that I'm interested in as well, because for a job I do that sort of thing. I don't want to give too much away, but So
I'm going to
cool.
crazy conference with loads of drones and satellite imagery and scanners next week. I'm going to do a report from there as well. So I think stepping back on the Retro Hour slightly, because I worked out that I was doing a stream every week, a DJ stream, a podcast, and I was doing 10 podcasts in 1 month.
Yeah.
Like...
It's really, really tough going. Yeah. Creator burnout, perhaps.
Yeah. And then having to do your work on top of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
A day job. Yeah. Anyway, fantastic. So keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully, in the very near future, we'll have an Amiga laptop for you to oogle at, to comment on, to tear us apart for all the dodgy engineering work that we've done. I mean, we've literally just slapped this together. Just literally like hacked together a wooden case for it.
But also, it's kind of like the time that me and Howard have had, because Howard, you've been all over the world.
We've met each other like twice, and we've got this far. We've been able to plug power into this, and unfortunately, we were let down by this little PCB here. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that we've got the screen working.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah. And these little meters that Howard made are excellent, because they tell us
the charge voltage. That's another thing that we're going to have to do in the future, is we're going to have to fit some kind of way of charging these battery packs into this system. Now, these are lithium-ion battery packs that have been reclaimed from used laptops, and to be fair, I've checked and tested each one of these batteries, and they are in very, very good shape. So I'm expecting that they will last for about an hour. But bear in mind, this Amiga laptop motherboard is an absolute power whore. A hungry pig for power, it really is. So yeah, but anyway, there's watch the other movie on this if this is something that sort of piques your interest. And obviously, we'll have... at the end of this session here, we'll chuck together a little bit more of the build videos that we did last night, and after a couple of beers and this morning as well.
The thing is, I love about your channel, Howard, is that you repurpose technology.
Yeah.
And that's what this is,
stuff.
recycling stuff. This is old batteries with an old computer system creating
and
something
some
different.
Old wood and admittedly, you bought a nice new monitor for it.
But what I'm going to do with this is, I think eventually I'm going to get a thin one with LVDS, which is the kind of interface, and I'll be able to do that through it and make it so it's not this thick. And it's like a thin lid.
Yes,
but
thinner.
That's years in the future.
Yeah, is that after you've made the Lego one?
I think it's probably integrated in there. Yeah.
We have resistors as well.
So this is the base of the Amiga then. So there's a whole load of lithium-ion cells in here, and another load here. This is a plus 12 volt set, and this is a plus 12 volt set, and I've put them end to tail, so positive to negative if you like, and I connected them in series so that we've got a minus 12, a 0 volts in the middle, and a plus 12 at the top. And I've put a couple of meters on here and the obligatory missile switch, and when you fire it up, hopefully it'll show you that we've got two lots of approximately 12 and a bit volts coming out of it. So what we'll do is we'll tap off the extra side here, and that'll be offering up the 5 volts that we need. And in order to do that, in order to create 5 volts, we've got here a little DC buck converter that we'll put a little heatsink on, and we adjust the little potentiometer on top of that in order to achieve 5 volts. And that'll give us 5 volts at 3 amps. So there'll be plus 12 and plus 5 coming out of this set, and minus 12 coming out of that set. That's how we're going to wire this bad boy up. Okay, so Ravi just explained to me we've got here an Amiga 300 board, a June bug board that's been recapped. And it's quite an well, it's quite rare. So I've got my reading glasses on. I'm not really grounded to anything, and feel a little bit guilty about that. I might, you know what? I'm going to touch my computer case. There we go. I've just grounded myself. So we'll grab the PCB, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to make a plug that fits this rather custom style Amiga plug just here. So what we'll do is we'll poke a bit of bar in there like that. This is just a little, the earth from a bit of twin and earth in each one of those holes. We'll put a piece of tape over it first, like this. We'll poke through each one of those holes with a short bar and put some hot glue, and then we can solder up an impromptu plug for this thing, make our own little plug for it. Right, that's mission 1. So there's an insulation sticker on the bottom. The pins have been poked through that. I've wrapped insulation around the outside here, and now what we're going to do is just very carefully fill that with hot glue and get it in between all of the legs of the connectors. Get it around the outside. Yeah, we'll leave that for 10 minutes to set. Maybe we'll start to mould it into a nice shape, make it look pretty. Cool. Here's the big reveal. Excuse the dirty tweezers. And there we go. We have made ourselves a plug for an Amiga. It's still just a little bit on the warm side, so I'll give that a few seconds to set further, and we should be able to unplug that from the power supply.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're just sort of like hacking some wires together here. With a bit of luck, we'll be able to plug in the monitor in a minute and make sure that works. As we saw yesterday, when we fire up the missile switch, hopefully we should get some readings on the meters.
Yep.
Okay, good. So
and
let's just...
you've done the ends of the batteries as well.
Yeah, so they're they're covered a little bit nicer now, look a little bit better. So now it's just a case really of plugging, and we don't need that at the moment.
Yep.
Just plugging this into the monitor, switching on the missile switch, and fingers crossed that monitor won't go bang. Oh, we got a red light, a blue light,
and there is activity.
Does that normally sort of fire up with a logo? Here we go. Yeah.
AV, and then
happy days.
The menu
happy
works,
days. There we go. Wicked. So we've got a monitor now. It's a case of getting the PCB. We're probably getting the batteries sort of like installed. We've yet to get the 5-volt supply installed, so we need to fire that in, and then we can get the PCB on there, and with a bit of luck we will then have no signal. We will then have a laptop that works, maybe.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Woohoo!
Okay, so we've plugged in the Acorn Electron. I wanted to see if the monitor works and everything works. So we turn on the supply here. So that's the monitor. Hopefully that should fire up in just a few seconds. Blue light. Here we go. And then if I plug in the Acorn Electron. Sorry, the wife's hoovering downstairs. Check it out. Subscribe. Yes. Happy days.
That is so cool. So currently I'm doing the software setup, and this is using WinUAE, which is the Universal Amiga emulator, and there is OS 3.1 at the moment. I have a SD card converter here, and here's the SD card. OS 3.1's on there, but that's actually a bit too bloated for what we have. So we've got here the 600 motherboard, but we've got literally no expansions on there. There's no extra memory, so there's less than, I think, 2 meg memory on here. So, you know, the OS needs to run really low powered. So we've actually got Better Workbench, which is OS that I'm extracting at the moment, that kind of keeps the functionality of the OS, but it's really stripped down. It's actually 10 meg the whole install, which is pretty crazy. And Howard is doing some soldering there, so we've got Howard working on the hardware.
Yeah, just wiring up the power connector now. Hope we've got plus minus 12 volts all sorted out. Just need to figure out the 5 volts. I've got a little buck converter here that I've just wired in. I need to set the voltage on that with the screwdriver and the meter over there. But other than that, we should be ready to plug the motherboard in any moment. So cool.
Oh my god, D-Day.
Right, so everything's pretty much wired in now. I know it looks a bit messy inside. I've hot glue gunned cables in various different positions. I've installed this here, which is a boost converter, or buck reducer. We're going to use this to take us from 12 volts down to 5 volts. So we've got a minus 12 volt pack, a plus 12 volt pack, which is bigger because it needs to supply the monitor, and also the plus 5 volt. So if I just get the meter here and put that across there, and then switch on the power supply. Right, we're at 11 something volts, and then with a bit of luck, so we've got 12 volts on the meter. 12 volts on the meter. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Alright, it's obviously a 20 turn potentiometer. So there we go. Now we can dial that back to just over 5 volts. Perfect. So, in theory, if we now look at the plug here, we need to be a little bit careful with this. So this guy here is the 0 volts. This guy here should be plus 12. Yeah, that's plus 12. The middle should be minus 12. That's minus 12. And this bottom corner here should be plus 5. Plus 5. Excellent. I reckon we're about ready to plug this all into your Amiga motherboard, mate.
Dun dun dun.
We're now at a point where we've got the power supply wired up. I'm just going to double check it one last time, and I've written on where the top of this power plug is that we've handmade out of hot glue and whatnot, because you can't easily get these plugs anymore. This is Ravi's Amiga motherboard, which is going to go in. Ravi has installed a little
hard drive.
Hard drive, yeah. So that's all up and running. He's tested the contents of the SD card on his laptop, so that looks good. We've checked the monitor with the Acorn Electron. That was wicked. I need to buy one of these. I think I'm probably going to use it with my Acorn, maybe in the camper van at some point in the future. Sit down and do some basic programming. Anyway, so yeah, it's time to fit this in place. And once we've got it all nailed down on these little PCB standoffs here, we've got an insulating layer of plastic that will go underneath it, and then it's time for its first switch on. So fingers crossed.
Yes, we need to plug the keyboard in.
Yeah, keyboard.
So we have a method of control.
Yeah. But just to see it light up and to see stuff come up on the screen, I think that will just give us a very good indication, I hope, that this works.
Yes, and that there's no explosions.
Yeah, exactly. No bangs, no smoke coming out would be great.
I think this is the moment of truth that we've all kind of been waiting for.
Yeah, the moment we've all been waiting for. A little bit nerve-wracking. So we're going to plug the power into the motherboard. There it is. I've double checked all of that.
Now this may take a little while to boot because it doesn't have the keyboard attached, but we should see some activity light shining off a little LED on this.
Okay, good stuff. And we need to plug in the monitor here as well. So that's the monitor plugged in now. And this is all battery powered. There's nothing connected to this now. You ready, Ravi? Are you ready for this, mate? This is like, this is the first, the first go. Here we go then. Do you want to flick the switch or shall I?
Let's both do it, Howard.
Let's both do it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, we've got a red light, blue light on the monitor.
No smoke yet.
No smoke. Not seeing any lights on the motherboard.
It will take a while to kick in, maybe, because
okay.
It has to think, oh, is there a keyboard there? No, there's not. Okay, let's go to the hard drive and see.
11.9 volts here, 12.4 volts here. And this is showing nothing, no signal at the moment. Okay.
So we'll give it a little while.
It's definitely drawing current because it's pulling the voltage down to 11.9 volts here. So I'm not seeing a red light on the 5 volt supply here. I'm wondering if the 5 volt supply has pulled everything down to a.
Well, one thing, we could connect the Amiga LEDs maybe, or check, because that's the LED output. So
okay.
If you're seeing any power off there, then maybe you'll know that.
Okay. Well, let's switch it off for now then. I don't think it's booting up, is it?
No, it doesn't seem to be.
All right. Okay. No worries.
Yeah.
So we've removed the hard drive from the Amiga motherboard, and normally if I just pop the power connector out here, when you power this thing up, you'll see there's a little red LED that's come on in here, and you'll notice that there is 5 volts on the meter. When I measure the voltage across the meter, there it is, 5 point something volts. But if you plug this into the Amiga motherboard, what happens is no LED comes on the 5 volt 3 amp converter here, and when we look at the output of that, we're down at like less than a volt. So something on the motherboard here is either drawing way more power than I expected, or there's a short that's just killing this buck converter, or maybe there's a problem with this buck converter. So need to sort of figure out what's going on. It's a real shame that this didn't just fire up straight away, but there we go. A little bit of fiddling to do by the looks of things. Anyway, thanks ever so much for watching, people. Take care. Make sure you give us a good old thumbs up. Pop a couple of comments in down below. Perhaps there's something that you think would be interesting for us to do with this, or that kind of stuff.
Because there's even options for different inputs on this. So even
you've got audio on that. You've got a USB port on there as well, haven't you?
The idea of maybe possibly having a Raspberry Pi in here.
Ooh,
that you could
wouldn't that be a little bit sort of, you know, if you're a die-hard Amiga guy, exactly, yeah.
But I could watch movies.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. Yeah, let's just switch over to the Pi. Click. Okay, now we're pied up. Yeah. So yeah, please, go ahead and leave us a little comment down below. Obviously, it's lovely to talk with you guys. It's one thing that I really appreciate, actually. When somebody sticks a comment in, it gives me an opportunity to get to know people. So please, if you go ahead and do that. Obviously, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Give us a good old thumbs up, and keep your eyes peeled for future episodes of this kind of madness. Take care, guys. Thanks ever so much for watching. Bye for now.
Ciao.
Bye.
Wicked. Oh, yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that'd be good.